just looking forward to playing somebody else. You know.
Talk a little bit about Nathan Schiehaus and the progress he's made during fall camp. What do you like about him?
I like everything about Nate. You know, he's gotten better every day. He's one of those guys comes to work. He's a lunch pail guy. Gets better every day. Really soaks up coaching in the meeting rooms, and then translates that to the field really well.
So he stepped up as a leader of the team.
He has. I mean, he's not a super vocal guy, but he is. You know, when he needs to be. You know, obviously he commands the huddle. You know, he's been out there. He's played 26 games, so those guys know he's been through the war. So he's definitely done a great job of leading us in both. On the field, off the field, all that kind of stuff.
How big is that for you as a coordinator to have a guy that started that many games? Now going into a new system.
It's huge. It's huge, and he's been through a couple of offenses too. So he's been through with Coach Loxley, and then coming through with Coach Petrino. So he's been through a couple of offenses, kind of understands football. Having been out there in the big stadiums and being in front of 60, 70, 80,000 people, it's not going to rattle him at all. So it's definitely a comfort level for us as an offensive staff.
Not ask for any secrets. What does this offense look like? How would you describe it, I guess, for fans that are going to see it for the first time?
I'd like to think we're going to be, disciplined. We're going to be able to try to spread the field horizontally and vertically. Try to make people defend us out in space. That's like we're not really different than any other spread offense. We're just going to try to do. We've got our own system, our own terminology, our own lingo, different tempos and things like that to try to keep people off balance. But we're going to try to have some answers, maybe that we didn't have in the past.
I've heard multiple and tempo. Are those the two key words of kind of what you do?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're trying to get a couple things done, as far as our tempos to keep some people, on their heels a little bit. And then, we want to try to be able to be multiple as far as being able to get downhill at times and being able to spread the field at times. Right now, offense in general is a conglomeration. People tell you we're a West Coast and we're a spread or we're this or that. Everybody's a little bit of everything. The way things are nowadays, we just got to figure out, and do the things that put ourselves in a position to be successful.
So when you guys sat down, was it what you did at West Virginia and Vanderbilt mixed together with what Billy did at LSU and what Tim did?
It's a little bit of that. It's kind of like I said, football is kind of the same. People run a lot of the same plays. They just package them different, and so that's kind of our thing is to figure out who is our best players and be able to put them in a position to be successful. So, when you package your plays and when you put your ideas together, you want to accentuate the guys that you have. And so that's what we've tried to do. But it's been a combination of everybody's system, really. It's a line eye offense, not one person's.
When you look at the strengths of your offense, how does the tight end stack up when you're talking about key assets? Is that one of your biggest things? And how could it be a point where you could have like two or three on the field at the same time?
A lot of the time. I think our tight ends, they played a lot of ball. Evan Wilson's played a lot of ball. John Davis played a lot last year as a true freshman. Eddie Valunas has played a lot of ball. So those guys are guys that have been through the wars. We're counting on a lot. I think we don't have as much depth as maybe we would like at some other spots, so that's one of the spots we got to make the most of, and that's kind of one of the things you want to make sure you get your best 11 on the field as much as you can. And for us, those guys are among our best 11, so we want to make sure we get them on the field.
So could it be a case where you got a lot of tight ends and running backs and maybe not a lot of receivers out there?
It could be the case.
Yeah. So with you, there's a little bit of element of surprise. How hard is it for the other team how hard is it on the other team?
It's hard on us because we don't know exactly what they're going to do. I mean, the first game is always tough because you don't have any film validation. They have a new coordinator. They have a new scheme that they're trying to do. So you don't know how much of the old stuff they're going to do and how much of the new stuff. And for them, it's probably the same thing with us. I hadn't called plays at this level, so they don't really have an idea of necessarily what I would do. And Billy has not either, so they don't know exactly. They kind of have an idea where we've been, but they don't know where we're going. So those kind of things you kind of figure it out as you go. But the bottom line is executing your plays, and it's like anything else. In practice, that's like I tell our guys, I don't want to know what the defense does before because I want us to be able to adjust, and because that's how it's going to be these first couple games when you don't know, and that's how it is.
We focused on their offense, but what was their defense too? I mean, they held Illinois to 23 last year.
Right, and they've got 9 starters back. They've got a lot of guys. They've got up front. Most of those guys are back. They do lose the MAC Player of the Year over there, but they've got 99 is a really good player. 97's played a ton of ball. He's a 3-year starter. So the defensive line is a strength for them. The linebackers are all are back for the most part. The guys that they're counting on. So Yeah, they've got quite a few guys. The secondary's deep, you know, and they're going to get more of those guys on the field with their scheme, you know, don't go into a 3-3 stack. So, you know, for us, it's about adjusting and adjusting to the speed of the game because obviously last year we knew it was a dog fight, and you know, it's going to be a dog fight this year.